Yeah. Okay, then let's start. Hello to the TOC meeting on 6th of February. Today, we have our usual agenda, checking on actions from last week. We'll get an update from the app runtime platform working group, talk about interesting other business stuff, and yeah, review our PRs. So before talking about any other business, yeah. So talking about action items from last week, let me share my screen. I see I forgot. Do you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, then actions from last week. Yeah, we have the agenda, which thank you for that, Amelia, for the update. And we had about clarifying CV number authority details because of the RFC we have from the vulnerability management working group. This was on you, Chris.
I have not gotten an answer on that yet, but I will stay on that.
Yeah,
I'll push that to next week.
I will then just hit the section item for current meeting. Good, then we can start with the update. So Amelia.
Sure. Yeah. Let's see. Some just quick team updates. We got 3 new approvers since we last updated. So I last updated in October, so it hasn't been too long. And Eric joined. Did I force him because I opened the PR? I don't know, but he's our execution lead now, and we're happy to have him. An effort that continues and was paused for a bit, and has been gaining momentum, which I'm excited for, is TLS everywhere. So we've added options for TLS health check endpoints for both Go Router and TCP Router, so that your load balancer, when it pings the health, that can be TLS. If you don't want it to be TLS, the option is still there for non-TLS, but some, we're just trying to provide an option to make everything TLS if people want to. The routing API endpoint has moved to TLS. And the internal blob store will register its TLS port soon, which is very exciting because it actually got merged into CFD today, I think. It is the last component registering a non-TLS port with Route Registrar. And so this means my next bullet point, future, I have been wanting to rip out the ability to create non-TLS ports for a very long time. But when people are using them, you can't just rip it out from them. You have to help them upgrade. So that was the last one. So hopefully we'll be able to rip that out of Route Registrar soon. Another thing that we've been working on is readiness health checks. A lot of that work is now, so the work that was in my working group has been done. A lot of the work left is in Greg's working group, app runtime interfaces. But I talked about it last time, so I figured I'd talk about it some more. We've done audit events. That was done since I last gave an update. And then there's a couple things that are still left, like a CAPI endpoint to tell you whether your app is marked ready currently or not ready. That would be nice, so you don't have to use CF dot. And then CF CLI commands to read that CAPI endpoint to know, and some metrics around it. So there's still work ongoing, and we're still working with the other working group to get to the rest of these items. One item that I think I've talked about in possibly every update I've ever given you is AZ-aware routing, and it's done. It's been released in CFD. We have docs on it. So now there's this locally optimistic mode that you can set. It's off by default, and you can still use either routing algorithm. Right now, your options are round robin or least connection. But if you have locally optimistic set, it will attempt to pick an endpoint in the same Go router, the same AZ as the Go router. And then if that endpoint fails, it will just default to using the entire array of endpoints. It doesn't give any preference to AZs. So I'm really excited for that to be done. It ended up being one of those things that's, we debated a long time on design and how we wanted to do it. But then once we sat down to do it, it wasn't too bad. In the future, let's see, what are we thinking about? We're thinking about ASG consolidation. Right now, when you create an application security group, you can give it a range of IPs or a single IP, but you can't do a comma delineated list of IPs. So very exciting, adding the ability to use commas. Go 122 is going to be really soon. Actually, I haven't checked today. Could be out. It's coming out in February, any day now. We've done a lot of work in our working group to make these upgrades quick, like extremely automated. We have one file that everything looks at. And so we should just be able to update the number in that file and everything should like trickle in work once we decide it's safe to do the update, which I've been looking at. But one thing I'm extremely excited for is this blog post that I have linked here by Russ Cox. Is Golang is changing some of their standards around backwards compatibility. And one of those things means that Go debug flags will exist for a minimum of 2 years. And each Go debug setting has an associated metrics counter with it. So what does this mean? This means, for example, we've had issues in the past where Go says, oh, we're going to stop allowing a certain type of traffic. For example, one coming up in Go 122 is, what is it? I'm going to forget the exact thing, but it's like if you have a content length header, but then no number after it, like it's just empty. You have like the key and no value. And before Go 122, this is fine. It will let it through. With 122, this will start failing. And so we've had issues with things like this. That's like, it's hard to know when all of a sudden you're going to stumble upon something that is going to break a lot of users because we didn't know they had clients that were, non-RFC compliant in their requests. So we've always had the option to turn on and off these Go debug flags that are around for some period of time. Usually they would take away within 6 months or so. It was very fast. But it was hard to tell users, hey, turn this Go debug flag on, all the traffic will work, or turn it off, and then all the traffic will just break, and you have to figure out like which app is sending good traffic or bad traffic. It wasn't a great experience, but now there will be a metric. So let's say you do the conservative thing, you say, hey, allow this traffic with this wonky header, that's fine. And there will be a metric that Go emits that says, hey, you actually had 5, however many requests that would have been affected if you turn this on. So we have not integrated anything to like expose these metrics, but now that they're going to be available in 122, I suspect we will start to develop patterns around how we can use these and expose them to users. Did that make sense? I've been thinking about this Go upgrades for a very long time. Another thought that's kind of going around is pruning off some legacy/experimental running modes in Garden that we don't think people use. So there's less for us to support, and just prune them off in favor of one container D mode is another thought that's going around in the working group. Any questions? See, if I gave it last week, I'd be like, I don't know, it was good. Eric's here now. I needed a week to remember what we did.
I don't see my favorite one, OSCI image support.
Oh no. I forgot I did. You mentioned that. I'm sorry. That's because I haven't been involved in it, and so I haven't been following it. I apologize.
Yeah,
But if you'd
this
like an update on it, I can give you
yeah.
one next week.
Yeah, this has been released so far. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Any questions?
Questions? Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep at it.
Also, I think I don't need to ask the question whether you help from us.
I'll bug you if anything comes up.
Okay. Then we can jump to the review the PRs. The first one is the autoscale area. They need admin access to work with action secrets. Yeah. It's the usual pattern, so we have they linked here also other PRs which we already approved. Okay, I see I have the enough approvals. Ruben is not yet there. Okay, and the next one is one inactive user which has been detected by our automation. So basically the automation runs on the first day of a month. And we have here also the approval from Richard. I think we don't need to wait 2 weeks here. We can just go. And what I didn't understand, so the automation creates commits on my name. I don't know why it is using the token we have in the secrets, but maybe I can dig a little bit on this. Okay, the RFC we said we will discuss next week when we have more details. Then any other business. So I added here one topic. So I was looking when our automation ran and was cleaning the members, the inactive members. I was looking into the team in the members we have for our GitHub work, and there are outside collaborators. So if you go to the organization people, so we have here these outside collaborators, 26 people. I don't know the history behind this, but most probably they shouldn't exist. They should be normal members of the org.
Yeah, do you know what access they get as outside collaborators?
I don't know. I think they have. I didn't check here. What you can check, manage, invite organization. I have to check. But maybe it makes sense to remove those people. I don't think that it's an automation. We should create here an automation. I can just create an issue that we are going to remove an PR, manually taking out the people no, they are just okay. We can only have an issue because a PR doesn't make sense. So I will go and create an issue to notify the people here and ask them to create a PR for getting a normal member instead.
That sounds good. And I'll go look at the list and see if ping around and see if anyone owns these bots. That maybe they have access that is going to be removed.
So Amelia, you want to check on the bots, whether they are used somewhere or
Um,
I-
once you create an issue, I'll ping it around inside like Broadcom
Okay.
Slack just to make sure people are aware.
I will let you know.
Yeah, thank you.
And we have another exciting topic, Cloud Foundry Day.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, the event page went live a few hours ago. You can expect a blog post coming out sometime in the next day, and then we'll start promoting it in earnest over the next few days. So the CFP, excuse me, CFP is live now. We also need a program committee. I believe you've seen perhaps Ram's messages in Slack regarding that. So yeah, we need to form a program committee. CFP runs until early March, so they're pretty short, but time to start thinking about that and getting those talks in. This will be a one-day single track event in Midtown Manhattan at a very cool looking venue. And it should be a nice day in New York in mid-May. There's a rooftop like 13th floor like roof patio at the venue where we'll have lunch. Presumably it'll be a nice day to be outside in Manhattan, and then there'll be an evening reception when we haven't figured that out yet. So should be a great day. Really looking forward to it. Hope as many of you can come as can.
Yeah, I would love to take part in planning this. I did not fill out the form because I wasn't sure if we would automatically be on the planning committee as TOC members.
No,
We were put on it no
the
matter
program
what.
committee is usually 3 people, and then Ram and I help out and advise.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll pick 3 people. Usually
Okay.
there's not a ton of people that apply, but they should be from different organizations. And but yeah, if you're interested, apply to be on the program committee.
I'll do
And
that.
also everyone should start putting in talks and talking to their managers who might be in charge of travel budget at their respective companies. And yeah, should be a lot of fun. I love New York.
I started to promote at least CFP for CFP support now with the page. I will also yeah, at least inside SAP. Yeah.
Cool.
Are there
We should be
any-
announcing, we'll also be announcing another Cloud Foundry Day probably in a couple of weeks, but that will be in Germany again in October. But we will announce that in a couple of weeks with the save the date.
Mhm. Okay, yeah. Looks great. Are there any topic categories you would like to see as submission or?
I think there should be some suggestions in the page there, but same as, I mean, we would love updates from the various working groups. We would love talks on the Paketo build packs and Karifi. Any security issues, obviously like traditional Cloud Foundry NVMs and Bosch and things like that. There's lots of topics there. In the past, there's been talks on bumping stem cells and whatnot, although I don't think there's a current one with that really coming up right now. But any new topics, any big things, yeah, could be a deep technical dive, could be any number of things.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else or any questions for the Cloud Foundry Day? Maybe I have one. I saw also someone join this. Like when you search for joining the Cloud Foundry Slack channel, you come to this page. And when you enter your email address, you don't get an invitation. Somehow,
I believe it is broken, and this has been on my
Yeah.
list for a few weeks, and I have yet to get around to this. But yes, it is broken right now, which is not great. At the very least, it should tell you it's broken and not So yeah, I will get on this and try and get this fixed soon.
Because I get notified by colleagues from in SAP, and now I saw also in the Bosch channel people trying to join.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can certainly invite people freely, but yeah, I know this is broken, and
Yeah, there is another one which works, but I think it is somewhere far below in the search. I think this one. Yeah, I think this one works, but
Cloud Foundation. Well, that's not us though. That's something else.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not the Cloud Foundation. That's not Cloud. I don't know. I don't know what Cloud Foundation is, but it's
Foundry.
I don't think it's the CNCF, and I don't think it's the CFF. I don't know what Cloud Foundation is.
Just a second. I have to find one. I mean this one. So this one works.
CloudFoundry.slack.com. Okay, so I've got two apps running. Is that what you're telling me? And one works and one doesn't?
Yeah, somehow yeah, you have so this the other one. So we have this one, which is the first hit, and this seems to work, which is I don't know. You don't find.
Oh well, I think. Hold on. Let me open an incognito page. Slack. We don't need to troubleshoot this on the call necessarily, but since we're here, .org. Yeah, okay, so well, so this page, I believe, doesn't give you an invite. It's just, it enables you to sign in.
So the correct one should be this here. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'll look into that and try and get that sorted in the next week or so.
Okay, then. Thanks.
Leave that to the top of my to-do list right by CVE number authority. Okay. Cool.
Okay, then is there anything else? We are done for today. Then have a nice day, evening, and see you next time. Yeah, take care.
Yes.
Bye bye.